Hello, this is Randy, and welcome back to Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. When I was a boy, my favorite show on TV was called The FBI. It starred Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. He had a beautiful daughter named Stephanie Zimbalist, but at that time, he played an FBI agent. The FBI was never wrong. Now, my dad loved that show as much as I did because he had been a consultant to the FBI, teaching them how to spot fraud and other crimes. It was fascinating. Watch that show, learn their stories, and sometimes it was scary for me as a boy. But I remember thinking, man, the FBI can do no wrong. And when I was a young married man, career FBI agent had messed up really bad. Became, I think, the very first one to give us an idea that all FBI agents weren't perfect. I don't remember exactly what he did, but I remember being extremely disappointed. When I lived in El Paso, one of my best friends was an FBI agent, and he was amazing. He had so many great stories and went out of his way to be such a good man, and he was. He was a great man. But when I was growing up, I just had so much faith in our government. I don't know if it's that I'm older or just frankly that these guys aren't trying as hard and their leadership isn't as good. But it's a little disturbing. When I was in Venezuela, one of my companions was a thalidomide baby. He had a regular arm. It was his left arm. And he had a baby arm, which was his right arm. It was about the size of an arm that a 2-year-old would have. Now, he was 19. Wasn't very tall, maybe 5'3" or 4. But he's a tremendous athlete. If he had a head of arms, even at 5'4", he probably could have played in the NBA. I mean, he was an amazing athlete. But the reason he was a thalidomide baby is Venezuela didn't have an FDA yet, so they didn't stop thalidomide from being sold. I don't know if most of us know that in the United States and Canada, we have pharmacists that protect us. You have to go in with a prescription to be able to buy medications from a pharmacist or a pharmacy. Now, when I went to South America, there wasn't a need for a prescription. You just needed to know what the drug was or what your problem was, and you could buy it. I did. And then when I lived in El Paso, if I needed something and I couldn't go see a doctor, it wasn't unusual for me just to go to Mexico, get the same prescription. The price was always amazing. Back then, we didn't worry about products being adulterated or being counterfeit. But I remember my wife got a prescription for a little bottle, and it was like $25. So I went across the border and I bought the same product in a big bottle, which was at least a liter. So instead of, say, 4 fluid ounces, I'm getting 33. And the thing that was just incredible to me is that it was $2. And it was the same company. I tried to buy the small bottle and they just didn't have it. While we have the FDA protecting us, I think in some ways, I know in my own life, I took a medication that the FDA approved that had a horrible effect on my health. They've since pulled it from the market and they've been sued. I haven't been part of any of those lawsuits yet, but I may just join one in the future because I know, having worked in industry, what careful notes are taken about everything that we learn. The first chemical company I worked for, besides Procter & Gamble, had a library of original manufacturers' safety data sheets. Some of these were from like the early 1900s. And information you could get off of those sheets was amazing. I mean, they kept track of, which of their employees got cancer from working, say, around chlorine or some other hazardous chemistry. And so we learned a lot. And so this, for a company to put something out there and not know, it's either rushed it through or something. And it's just not the proper way to do things. But the FDC or the CDC, I don't trust them anymore because of this whole thing with Dr. Fauci. I mean, he was already extremely wealthy. He was the highest paid federal government employee anyway. His wife's right up there with him. Then he is getting a part of these vaccines that he rushed through. That's just not right. I can't believe that he hasn't been prosecuted for that. He needs to be. We need to make an example of that kind of thing, because in my world, when I was growing up, that never happened. I got to tell you, I'm the same thing with the Secret Service. I mean, they were like first class in my mind. But to see how they have become an agency that is, it's more important to them to be part of DEI or diversity and all that instead of protecting the president. I mean, when they first shot at President Trump, to see that one Secret Service agent, she couldn't even holster a weapon. She was so excited. I don't blame her for being excited, but at some point, muscle memory's got to take over. You can holster that weapon and then be able to care for your protectee, i.e. the former president. So I don't know that the world is as good as it once was. I always trusted the companies I worked with to do the right thing. And I had one boss that used to accuse me of being too honest. I told him, I said, there's no such thing as being too honest. You live by honesty and you take care of your customers and you always do the right thing. And I think he surrounded himself with people that agreed with me. That's one of the things that protected this company and made it a great company. I learned a lot from them. It was quite paternalistic. So after spending 16 years there, it was time for me to move on. But I enjoyed my time there. I learned an awful lot. They allowed me to learn a lot, do a lot. But we need to make sure that we're, back in the day, if a doctor gave you something, you didn't even question it, you just took it. Now, you want to read that little package handout that comes with the medication. If you don't understand it, get somebody to explain it to you, because there may be side effects there that you're not interested in getting. As you age, you may be like me, where you're having to take more and more medication to be healthy. But I don't think I'll ever get another COVID shot, even though my doctors want me to, because I'm not convinced that there's anything to them positive. You can see some negative things coming from them. And when the guy that invented the RNA sequence isn't taking them because he doesn't see any benefit to them either, it makes me sit up and say, hey, if he's not taking them, he invented the whole process, got a Nobel Prize for it, I'm not going to take it. So anyway, that's a little bit of a political rant, but I liked it better when I was growing up and we had complete and total faith in the FBI. The bad cops were just in movies as opposed to what we see now. I mean, it's regular that there are bad cops or people that just don't seem to care or politically motivated. I really wish we would get that out of our government, out of our bureaucrats. Frankly, the people that are at the top of our organizations need to be as good as the people that are protecting us on the streets. That's just the way I feel. I hope that I haven't offended anybody, but I wanted to get this off my chest and tell you about it. Please have a great day. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe. Give us your comments. And if you get a chance, tell your family and friends about us. Bye.